with the Scarians and my darling wife. And we pick each other's brains there. We have ideas. We talk about what works at districts, what we do, what we would like to do. And one of the districts told me, one of the district people from somewhere else on the East Coast said, we get the parents together. And I thought, great idea. Let's have the parents come together for dinner. I don't think they did it, but I saw a correlation there with the monthly report for October. I asked the kids to write letters to be read at the dinner. And the first year was unbelievable. Now, of course, this has evolved, and some of the kids, like our kids here this year, they're exposed to the parents' dinner, so they'll have an idea, if they're still in the program next October, what Jack's kind of looking for. The letters seem to be more related to the other candidates now, but the first couple of years, the letters, actually, a couple were real tearjerkers, and it was really unbelievable. But still, it's great to hear from the kids, and it's a great concept. So every fall, the first part of November, what we do is I have an assignment. I ask the kids who are in the program overseas to, of course, they send me a monthly report, a written report every month anyway. I ask them, send me a letter, and your letter will be read at the Poo dinner, the Parents of Outbound's dinner. They're really not told what to say, and they're really not told how long to make it, although some of them have a sense of that because they talk about their memories from last year. I think you'll enjoy the letters. I think when you hear all the letters, you'll probably get a better idea what the program is about. And for the parents who are able to be with us tonight, I really appreciate you being here. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you lending me your children. A couple of our parents weren't able to make it. The Forneys happened to sell their house this weekend and they're moving. Their daughter's in Austria. Debbie Hill, whose son is in Russia, just couldn't get off work. And of course, I talked to her on the phone a couple times this past week and she just wasn't able to do it. And that's the way life is sometimes. And the other lady is Kim Allen from my hometown. And Kim was coming, and the only thing I can think of is somewhere in Washington Township, she's driving around right now. So, what I'm going to start with is, since I know that Matt's won't be here, we'll start with a letter from Matthew in Russia. I'm going to ask Colin to come up. And he's going to fake the Russian words.
Hello, my name is Colin, and I'm from SDPS High School.
Can you speak louder, please?
You can take the microphone off and hold it.
There you go.
My name is Colin, and I'm from Salem County Vocational Technical School in Penns Grove, Price Point. And I'm reading for Matt, who's in Russia. I wanted to thank everyone who supported me as I ventured off into what is known as Rotary. If they've remembered correctly, I had some difficulties and I almost gave up, but then I realized I had some true friends and the family and teachers willing to avail to me. I'm having a great time here, I truly am, and it's one step closer to accomplishing what I want to do later in life, if that list ever ends. Those people are my heroes, those people I love. Thank you. Hey Jack, I'm sitting here at my host brother's computer still waiting for YouTube to upload music video that has so far taken 20 minutes and it's only halfway. The Russian internet you'd imagine that I'd probably have given up by now, but out of all the things I've gotten used to in this country, first, it was the internet. Every time I send an email, I expect to spend 5 minutes waiting for the message sent sign to pop up. Other than that, I'm officially in a very good mood today for no reason other than I haven't spoken a word in English yet, and it's past noon. That's irregular because I make dumb mistakes with my stresses. For example, one day in class, I thought I asked the teacher if she wrote the name down of the other exchange student in my school for emergency phone calls, and it turns out I asked her if she urinated on it. Same word, but different stresses. And yesterday I was explaining to my host mom that too much meat hurts my stomach, but instead of stomach, I pronounced the word wrong and said too much meat hurts my sausage, and not food. So I've embarrassed myself at least twice. But anyway, I woke up and watched The Born Supremacy in Russian, and I, gasp, understood it. and I finally begun to think in Russian like in sentences, so it's cool. You wrote that you were happy that we were all in the Rotary program and something else. I'm a little tired. And I'd like to say that I'm thankful for the Rotary Club back home accepting me to the program. Thank you. School, I like school a lot. It's a lot better. It's not better or worse, but I like what the Rotary program stresses. It's different, and it really is. And I love that. My head teacher, whom I just call M, because it's short, easy, and she was elected the Teacher of the Year or City or something like that. I don't think my classmates really cared about that as much as they did getting to go home 40 minutes earlier than the rest of the school. But she's a really qualified teacher, and she's one of my favorites. Other than that, I have a semi-solid schedule. I still go with the flow, and I have no idea what I'm doing from day to day. So I'm still dragging all of my textbooks to school. But I have all the same courses as everyone else at the same times. No regularities. I don't get grades except for in French and rarely in second grade. I get 5s, which are A's in those classes. Though I don't get grades, they still expect me to participate in class and do the homework. I've managed to get the overall point of what they're teaching, but it's not all the time. And it certainly doesn't help me that with my homework. I still can't solve math by hand, and the way it's looking now, I've never gotten those grades in class. I'm totally going to flunk. History is the only class where I understand absolutely nothing. The teacher comes in and just starts kind of going off on a rampage about history. Sort of like Mr. Hefner, if anyone from Gateway is reading this. But I like this teacher a lot too. My favorite class though is English, because it's always interesting. My French is the same class. It goes from French to English because it's taught in English. And she wants me to respond in English, and when I do, she hears things that she's never heard before and asks me about them. This is the teacher who came up to me on the first day and told me to call her mama. I like my school a lot. Yesterday was the day of teachers, and we ate cake and partied for 2 hours, and then we went home. School for 2 hours, and then no school on Saturday. I enjoyed my Friday like I do in America. Friend-wise, I'm still a little iffy. The Russian kids are a little scary. All of my classmates come up to me and ask me about marijuana, drugs, if my friends do them, if I've ever done them, and if I did, how cool was it? And then one of my classmates drew the pot leaf on her notebook. So I'm really afraid to make friends with some of these kids. And I went to this thing called Tor Sloit, where you go to the Black Sea. I think I counted 4 kids who didn't smoke out of the 120 who went. It was an uncomfortable setting for me, except for the day when we did all the traveling. I kept reminding myself that I'm sort of in Russia and all, but it was still a big culture shock. Cigarettes on a school trip. I still don't have any close friends or anyone I can call friend at school. They're all acquaintances, but it's not too bad. I have one friend who actually works at the Rotary as a secretary named Diana. I go to her office almost every day, and it's a break from the wildness at school. I can joke with her and all, and I get to help her translate and interpret documents from the president of the club. It's amazing. On top of that, I get to interpret from the other exchange students whenever I see them. I'm having a good time with that, and I love it so much. I'm also really happy with my new host family. It's a heck of a lot better than my first one. I never told you this, Jack, but I was happy at my first host family for maybe a week and a half. And then my host mother started criticizing me on everything, and it got to the point where I dreaded when she came home. And right before I was going to tell anyone, I was told I'm changing host families. My current host mother is so sweet, and she explains everything to me than rather criticize. And my host family in general reminds me of my family at home, so it's good. I'm comfortable here, and it makes me a lot more comfortable that my real mom and my host mom get along very well. I really get bored sometimes, so I picked up reading and watching movies. And since today is a weekend, yesterday was the teacher's day, and we got off for the next day, so no school today, I'm going to pay a visit to Kransalia Ulica. I love this street. During the week, it's not so pleasant, but every weekend, cars are prohibited from the street and you can walk anywhere. And it's very gorgeous. Absolutely fascinatingly gorgeous. I'm actually going with some acquaintances from school I'm hoping to befriend, provided they actually want to become friends with me, not boyfriend and girlfriend. The women take pride in their beauty and constantly ask me if I like them. I say I have a girlfriend, which isn't true, but it means nothing to them. It's really crazy. Sometimes it gets too much, and I just have to apologize and walk away. I'm hoping they just don't eat me alive today. Anyway, I've got to go do Uborka, which is where you clean the house, like we do every weekend. There are a million other things I was going to write and forgot as I wrote them down, so I'll add them later, maybe. Poka, Matt Rainey.
Matt and I got a question, Lois?
Yeah, I was just wondering, do you know exactly where in Russia he's located?
He puts his address on the end of every email, but I couldn't pronounce it right now. Colin might be able to tell you.
Krasnodar, Russia.
Uh-huh.
Russia, Moscow, that's all I know. Matt and I got off on the wrong foot. He sent me an email expressing interest in the program, and he hit the wrong button, and it arrived in Russian. But I didn't know what it was. Anyway, he called me on the phone, and this kid's talking to me on the phone. He says, I taught myself Russian, recently, and I really want to be an exchange student. I'm thinking, is this kid real? Yeah. So we went back and forth, and he was starting the process, and people who know Matt, support him. For the first time in history, I got a call from the guidance office. And they said, this kid really needs to be an exchange student. I said, okay. I said, just for point of record, I'm curious. He said he taught himself Russian. And she said, well, we don't teach at the school here. But yeah, we heard that. I said, do you know how he's doing? Well, he chats with the cafeteria worker all the time. And he does a lot of chatting. And I was amazed. I got to know Matt. Yes, Matt started off learning Russian before he ever got in the program. This is the kind of person we need, the kind of passion. And he's doing a great job in Russia, and he's doing great. We have a great group of kids this year. Really, really pleased with our group. Wish it was bigger. We only have 5 abroad right now, but we have an absolutely fantastic group of kids. I would like to take a moment and ask anyone in the room who has ever hosted an exchange student to please stand up. And current. Oh yeah, now too. Thank you. These people help make our program happen. Absolutely. Gio? Por favor.
I'm Giovanni. I'm from GCIT.
Can you speak up a little? Speak up, please. Put the.
Hi, I'm Giovanni. I'm from GCIT, Gloucester County Institute of Technology. I'm reading Alexa, and she's staying in Austria. Hello all. It's sometimes hard to believe I'm in Austria for 2 months already. There's so much stuff I want to say, but I try to keep it relatively short out of sympathy for the poor kid who has to read my letter.
You like him already?
To my family, I can't believe you crazy people let me do this.
Oh, it's funny.
What were you thinking? Now I might never come back. Okay, don't cry, Mom. You know I hate it when you cry. I'll come back in July, and I promise. And I'll see you smiling over there. Daddy, no, I know why you talk about your exchange in Ecuador so much. I think it's this exchange has been the best thing I've ever done, ever. And I'm really glad I didn't opt out. To tell you the truth, sometimes I've considered staying home during a long wait for the flight to
Just fake it.
Vienna, oh, that's right. But I know now that if I done that, I wouldn't have met all the awesome people I've met here, or seen all the things I've had. To Jack and Carol and Bob, etc. I love you guys forever. And Jack, if you ever haven't so helpful on that very first phone call I called, I wouldn't be here. Thank you so much. It's really everything you said would be and more. And this year's recruits, and to this year's recruits, there are not generating, I don't know. When they stay, it could be the best year of your life. In fact, I don't think Jack Carroll would ever
No, he's here. He's American.
exaggerate
That's right.
about anything when they told us what to do, what to expect. Being an exchange student is hard. I won't lie, but everything about it is fun. You will have, and many people will meet you and make for that. Austria is completely different from anywhere I've been. Well, not completely different. People are still living in houses, for one thing, and they dress pretty much the same as we do, at least on weekdays. Mostly. It's the little things that I notice here, despite what people like to say about there being a bunch of little tiny stores to buy food, one for meat, one for bread, one for vegetables, and etc. They do, in fact, have supermarkets here, and you can still buy your macaroni and cheese and ramen there. It's just a little harder to find, because there happens to be an entire aisle devoted to pasta. The Austrians love food, and lots of it. But do not despair. Those of you who are headed to Europe, you're almost certainly fated to have a host mom who loves to feed. But if you stop when you're not hungry anymore, they'll usually stop asking if you want more after you said no twice. In my school, we have 16 subjects spread out over the week's schedule. It's a bit hard to get used to, and the schedule is nearly impossible to memorize. But all of the work, students get regular free periods during which you can do your homework and walk out to the bakery. Sometimes I suspect that the Austrians can't do anything without cross-ethnic support. What other reasons could there be for the presence of the least one restaurant on every street here? The kids in my class were a bit distant the first few days of school, but my second week in class, they invited me to parties. Here it's really cool to be an American, and in a landlocked country like Austria, they love to hear about the ocean. All of them want to go to California and surf, which gives me a mental image of a bunch of Austrians standing on a beach using poorly said surf slang, sorry. If you are in fact a surfer, you have already gained instant popularity. You just don't know yet, There is, of course, many differences, ranging from the ways the toilets look to how the people react to foreigners. But I couldn't possibly put them all down at once, so I stop here. A lot of Americans think that we have no culture, that whatever we have got washed away in a flood, and the only thing that we have left is our McDonald's and jazz. I thought so too. But now I know now, after being here for 2 months, in fact, we are in fact a country with very distinct culture, perhaps tough. The only way to truly know what an American is to know what an Austrian is, or a Brazilian is, or whomever it is that lives wherever you're going. Culture is necessarily about what originated in our country, or its history. It's the little things that we do differently from everyone else in the world. And the only way to know we do it differently is to see how other people take it. Being an exchange student is a lot of fun, but even more than that is learning experience. I think that we can come back. I will finally be able to say that I know better who I am as an American and thus a person. To the recruits, I leave this advice: don't give up. The road less traveled is sometimes the best one to take. Listen to Jack and Carol, and study your language until you start dreaming in it. And make sure to do everything you want to know so that you have no regrets when you leave. Good luck. Love, Alexa Forney.
How often we go down the street and we don't notice the American
What are you eating,
flags there?
Peace?
Well, when they come back, they'll see them. Marlena,
What'd you eat?
please. I know
Got your dessert?
Connie's mother's been sitting there waiting to hear from her daughter. Will you please get up to Connie's mother? Why do we do this? If we didn't, let me start over. Rotary believes one of our pillars of our beliefs is world peace and understanding. And the only way it's going to work, somebody has to come here and somebody has to go there. You can't rely on Hollywood and TV shows, and you really don't want to rely on Hollywood and TV shows. So we try to set our best there, and I do believe that many of our foreign governments, our foreign friends, send their best here. So that's why we do it. And Connie, I believe, is a great ambassador. All the kids are great ambassadors this year. They're doing a super, super job. Kayla, please.
Good evening. My name is Kayla Martin. I go to Gloucester County Institute of Technology, and I'm reading for Sarah, and she's in France.
Charlene? Wrong. I can't say it either. The town that Sarah was talking about is where our girl, or Charlene, goes to high school, or where she went to high school back
I
then.
need to follow 3 years, so going to school.
Oh, okay.
Usually it's some customized activities.
You will have to show me the school when we go there to visit you later. Yes. We're winding down. I think we have one last letter. Natalie, I think you're up.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Natalie, and I'm from Ocean City High School. I'm reading for Victoria, who's in Chile. This is her letter. I remember my first Poo Dinner last year. I think it was the first time I met Jack in person. I remember reading the letter that Jack gave me, which I swear was the longest letter ever. I was so excited reading the letter, thinking that in only 12 months that I would be writing my letter and having a possible future as an exchange student. I can't see you guys, but I know what you were thinking right now. The same things my friends and I were thinking about. My friends meaning Connie, Matt, Rosemary, and Alexa, fellow exchange students. You are thinking about this next year abroad. You're wondering if you really want to do it, if this is right for you. How much you're going to miss all your family and friends, everything. For Connie and I, it was a little bit hard. We were graduating this year before our trip. We had to get college all set before we left, which I still have some things I'm taking care of. But everything works out in the end. How can I be so sure? Because Uncle Jack told me so. Well, Chile. Let's see. My first reaction to Chile when I was stepping off the plane and onto international soil was, oh my goodness, it is absolutely freezing, which I did expect. I brought my big jacket, but it was so weird to go from home being 90 degrees and Chile being close to 30. It snowed the first week I was here. Only a few inches. Sorry, they measure in centimeters here, only a few centimeters. My parents told me all about the heat wave they are having in New Jersey. I was so jealous. Chile does not have central heating. This I did not know until I met with other exchange students at orientation, and our cabins had a space heater that only had to be turned off at night. We took turns staying up so we didn't freeze. My second reaction to Chile was how beautiful it was. I've never seen anything like the sunsets here. They're absolutely gorgeous. I have a little balcony thing attached to my room, so some nights I just go out and sit there and watch the sunset and write in my journal. I'm surrounded by farmland. I have cows in my backyard. For me, that's a little different. I lived in a development, but here, I don't know what it is, but it's not a development. I have neighbors, but they live a little further away. School is different, really different. The school is about 350 students, ages 6 to 20. My high school in New Jersey has about 350 students just in the senior class. We have a block schedule type thing. It's class for about an hour, and then half an hour, then a 15-minute recess in between in which we can do just about everything on campus. Go outside, go to the cafeteria, anything. I have about 30 kids in my class. I'm starting a field hockey team. It is quite exciting. My school went out and bought sticks. First I'm going to have lessons, and then as long as we have enough girls interested, we'll start a team. Some of my guy friends and I were playing hockey in the gym class the other day. Let me tell you how scared I was. I went out and bought a mouth guard that day right after school. I can personally say, do not listen to all the rumors you are going to hear about your host country, because 99% of them will not be true. For example, don't drink the water, don't eat the fruit, and they don't have hot water. Sorry. Some things I can tell you. They eat a lot of the same food here in Chile as they do in the US. Pasta, chicken, hot dogs. There are a lot of different things, but I always try it once. They give kisses upon arrival and departure. The fashion is just about the same. I have a computer in my house. There's a lot of the same TV shows, but in Spanish. I'm able to watch American football on Monday nights. I have a nanny. I keep my room clean and my bed made. I'm used to having a lot of chores at my house in Jersey, so I feel like these are my only real chores. I try to help clear the table or clean the kitchen, but Anita, my nanny, tells me to stop. But don't tell my dad that I miss cleaning. Just you feed your outbounds, take a deep breath, relax, everything will be fine. I'm not really sure what else to write. My first month here, I was so relieved to be away from home, as you all will be too. Just not dealing with those everyday hassles, or bickering with my sisters because they took my socks. But the second month, I have no idea what was happened to me, but it hit me hard. I was really upset. I tried to keep busy. I did a parade of my school and volunteered with stuff in the house, but I guess it didn't work that well. Oscar, a French exchange student, has become a good friend of mine here. He's the only one I can really talk to that can completely understand how I'm feeling. At first I didn't tell him that anything was bothering me, but one day he took me aside and asked me what was up. He said I wasn't acting the same. I seemed to be annoyed a little more easily. He said a few other friends noticed it as well. When I finally talked things out with Oscar, I felt so much better, and I listened to him. Turns out he felt the same way. I told him that I was really homesick. I talked on the phone with my family, and it got me really upset. My sister's birthday was coming up, and I couldn't stop thinking about how I wasn't going to be there to watch her blow the candles on her birthday cake. And my sisters are starting high school, and I wanted to be there to hear all their stories. Another time, after school, I went over to my friend's house to work on a project. When we were finished, I went to the website my dad made for me, and pictures of family vacations with peace and my sisters playing soccer at my graduation party. I started to cry uncontrollably. My friend Fania had to pry me away from the computer. I didn't want to stop looking at the pictures. I wanted to be there with them. I wanted to hold them. I missed them. There are the few moments you must be ready for and able to handle. You have to be strong. Remind yourself that this is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Everyone is happy for you and will be there when you get back. This may be a year older. You may be a year older, but you will be wiser in the things you never thought you would be. You are getting out and seeing the world. I brought some pictures with me. They're from my graduation. The first one is from my mom, my dad, and I. I'm holding my diploma. I chose this picture because I remember my parents telling me how proud they were of me. The second is of my 3 sisters and me. I remember how they told me they would miss me so much when I was gone this year. And the other is of me and my 3 closest friends, who were always there for me when I needed them. I've hung these pictures on the wall at the head of my bed so that I may look at them before I go to sleep and have all the people I love most in my dreams. Looking back, never had I thought the day to board the plane would come. Time seemed to go by so slow, but it will. Cherish the moments you have left with your family. You will miss them. You will get homesick. That is something that I wasn't really expecting, but it will happen. Just relax and think about those moments with your family and remember, everything will be okay. It's only 12 short months. I can't believe I've been here for 2 already. I only have 10 left. I think that I'm going to miss the most are the holidays. Thanksgiving is coming up soon. They don't have that here. I miss Gab, but I miss you all. Jack, Bob, and Carol, Bob, Spence, everyone. And you future outbounds, get ready. Practice your language. Notice just that I said practice, not study. You can read and write all you want, but you need to recognize words when they are spoken and be able to process and respond. Good luck. Maybe I'll see you at the Welcome Home dinner in August if you haven't been shipped out yet. Ciao, besos. Tori and Chile.
What's the matter? You read that very nice. Thank you.
Good job by everyone. The kids know it's hard. We told the group of overseas, we told them it's hard. We tell them every year. What it is, those of you who are candidates, your letters will be read next year, and your wisdom and what you're going through will come out in those letters and also in your monthly reports. And we do. The program's dynamic. We change it. The things I tell parents might be different a year from now based on what we find out this year. I have been telling them, study your language. Study your language. That's not from Jack. That's from the kids overseas. And you'll hear from me. I'm going to tell you to study your language. At this point, I'd like to say that I'm looking across the room. I see a very dear friend of mine
I tried to see.
who this program wouldn't exist without. You keep hearing about Bob and Carol. Well, this is the Carol for Bob and Carol. And a couple of the people here, of course, who know Bob and Carol said, where's Bob and Carol?
Bob said
We might get a
Pennsylvania
report. Could you give a brief report on Bob? I'd love to hear how he's doing. Come on up.
I didn't have to come up there.
Oh, come on up. Give me a chance to give you a hug.
It's been a rough couple of days.
I know.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Carol.
Bob
Hi,
will
Carol.
come home tomorrow. He had a knee replacement on Thursday, and he's been in a lot of pain. It wasn't as easy as everybody told him it was going to be. So he's hanging in there. He's pretty drugged up. But anyway, I'm sorry I couldn't be here to hear all the letters. I'm sure Jack will share them with me.
We got videotape.
Oh, that's great.
Stu.
Good job, Stu.
Also,
But yeah, it was, you know, it's been an exhausting couple days, so. But he's supposed to come home tomorrow. I don't know how, but he's coming home tomorrow. But I tried to sneak in, you know, and not bother anybody. But glad you're all here, and I hope you had a good night. Thanks.
Thank you.